Good morning. Stacy Thomas at Orchard Hills, and I want to talk to you this morning about It Is Well With My Soul. I don't know if you've heard Christine DeMarco sing that. It's incredible. I think she has about 100 million hits now, but it's worth looking it up. But what's the story behind It Is Well With My Soul? Mr. Spafford was a successful business lawyer. And in 1871, his 4-year-old son, his wife Anna and him, his 4-year-old son, died of pneumonia. That same year, he lost most of his business in the Chicago fire. Because of business problems, he had to stay in the United States, and he sent his wife on ahead to Europe for some reason, I suspect because of the fire. And then their ship, 4 days out, collided with a Scottish iron-hulled vessel and in 12 minutes went to the bottom. She clutched to some wreckage, and a sailor in a rowboat saw her, retrieved her by herself. She telegraphed this message: "Saved alone, what shall I do?" to her husband, which he put on a plaque which stayed in his office. Saved alone, what shall I do? Well, the story goes on, and she gets back and she says, well, let me tell you what she said on the deck. She grabbed her 4 children and clutched them to herself, hoping for the best, and prayed that God would have mercy on her 4 girls and that by some miracle he would spare them. But she said, "If it is your will." And then she said, "Or make me willing to endure whatever awaits us." That's an incredible prayer. I can't imagine the turmoil that she went through as she perhaps tried to keep them afloat and how many hours they were out there before she lost all 4 girls. But a pastor was on board, and he later recalled Anna saying, after they had been retrieved, "God gave me 4 daughters. Now they have been taken from me. Someday I will understand why." I am immediately taken back to Job. Job said at the end of losing all of his family, all of his kids, all 10 of them, he says, "I know that you can do everything," in chapter 42, "and that no purpose of yours can be withheld from you." Then he says, "You ask, who is this that hides counsel without knowledge," that talks basically above their pay grade. "Therefore I understood not what I uttered, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know," which I didn't truly understand. And you know the story. Then he goes on to say, "I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see you." You know, that's the most incredible thing that a person can ever do, is have a vision of God. I'm not talking about a physical vision of God. I'm talking about an experience in their life in which they know they've seen the reality of God. Now, most of the time, that comes through heartache, because that's when we cry out to God for the most. And I suspect that both of these could have died bitter, could have died hateful, could have died resentful. They could have died questioning God right up to the end, which is what Job did before God spoke to him. But they didn't. Spafford and his family, they went on to Jerusalem shortly thereafter. And they opened up somewhat of an orphanage in their own home. They cared for the sick. They took care of these kids, and they ministered to the people of Jerusalem, those that were down and out. Now, they could have finished a very bitter family, but they didn't. God gave them another chance to share their hurt, their growth, their pain in ministry. That's what he tells us in Corinthians. He says, use your hurt that you can comfort other people. She said, hopefully one day I'll understand why God did this. She didn't say it was necessary to understand down here, but she said, I will understand up there. Now, I don't know what you've been through, and I don't know what you're going through, but as bad as it gets, God is still the one that says he can do everything. And the one that's still working this for your good and his glory. We can choose to be better or bitter as a result. The grace is available for us to trade up to more grace and to see God instead of just dwelling on the pain. God bless you, and you have a great day.